Awesome. There we are. Now we're live.
Now we're
Yes.
live. Yeah. Now
We are here on a Tuesday. Sorry, had some technical difficulties. Yeah, our schedule's kind of been all over the place, but we finally were able to come to Wednesdays going forward. But we already had today booked, and Owen has to leave for Daytona, right?
On Thursday, yes. So I have to when you have, let's say, an extensive collection, going away for a couple days tends to be a whole fucking thing. Yeah. So that's what we're doing. So we're leaving Thursday morning. So I got to spend all day Wednesday, like after work, it's just snakes. And it's weird because remember I was talking about how like I should be trying to get baby carpets to eat. Well, thank God I got half a clutch of bread, like, because now I can have that experience of pounding my head against the wall because of Morelli is like, I don't know why this mouse is in here. And it's like, great. On the other side, all of my Vietnamese Blue Beauties ate, dropped all eight immediately. They shed. 2 days later, they ate. Colubrids, pythons right now. Okay. Like it's, yeah.
Oh man, that's changed in 24 hours. Yesterday we were pro python.
Yeah, but now what happened is I tried to feed. So now it's like, unfortunately.
Okay. So when are you leaving for Daytona? Friday?
Thursday morning. Because we're gonna go down because my mother-in-law lives down close to Daytona. So we're obviously gonna go down and do the whole like, oh hey, we're here for you guys. Oh, weird, a snake show is going on at the same time. Yeah. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so Lucas couldn't be here today. That's sort of like why we've been struggling with getting episodes out. He started a new job or something like that, right? It was a new job. Some schedule changed or something.
Yeah, right? He started some new jobs and some new opportunities that I'm not sure if we're allowed to say what's going on quite yet. But he's trying to get all that stuff going, and obviously there's growing pains. You know, you got to figure shit out. You got to figure how everything's going to go. So,
yeah. So yeah, I know it's kind of a weird time that we're here, but we figured we'd squeeze one out. We're only going to do an hour because then we got to record the Morelli minutes that we do for the Patreon, so we can get that done and for the week. But as far as coffee goes, I'm kind of boring this week. I'm at Carpets and Coffee blend of what do you call it? Cold-blooded caffeine.
Cold-blooded caffeine. Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm also gonna be boring this week because I ran out of Carpets and Coffee, and I'm like, I shouldn't order any if we're gonna be like traveling. But I'm kind of hoping that the guys will be down there because I can be like, I would like to taste some of your other flavors, please. Like, you know, that kind of shit.
I guess it would make sense that they would be there. They're in North Carolina.
I would think so. I know they were doing bigger shows, but I don't know what they were. I don't know what's going on with that. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You'll be. What's your grail? Oh, so yeah. So that's what I'm doing coffee wise. And let's see. Do we have any housekeeping shit you want to talk about?
Carpet Fest is September 14th at Eric's house. We'll be making official announcements soon. And along with t-shirt stuff, and then everybody should get ready because we're going to make the calendar announcements probably once we get back. We'll be getting ready on that kind of stuff too. So There you go. Yeah, lots of shit.
It's good to see Patrick up and about after his surgery that he had. So that's good. Yeah. So okay. So for our topic that we were going to talk about this week, I thought that because me and Owen were kind of talking about this yesterday when we were recording NPR. But with the way the economy is, does it affect how you plan your season for 2024? Knowing that there could possibly be some troubles on the horizon. How do you map that out? You want to go first, Owen?
Oh, that's unfair. Like it's just like to try to. It's a little bit of a dick move there.
Like Like the
Well,
reptile.
no, because your plan is I'm going to increase the amount of breeding I've done. Because last year you didn't do any breeding, so
Yeah.
like that's part of it. On me, it's like so. That's obviously something you think about. And it's something that you need to plan ahead for because any asshole that has a shit ton of the same snake wasn't planning on a downturn somewhere or wasn't paying attention. It's there are the people who every year, every breeding animal is going to get chucked together because that's what happens. And I think you need to pay attention to one, your own stock, what you have, and then what you're expecting. If I have like right now, I'll just throw this out. I have about 10. It's probably closer to 8. I think I have 8 olive python babies left over from
Okay.
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
No.
Yeah.
Not
And I've been growing them
not last
slow.
year, but
They're
the
on.
following year.
Yep. They're not 24. These are 23 babies. And I've been growing them slow because they're olive pythons. They don't need any goddamn help growing me out of house and home. Okay.
Yeah.
So
they grow even when you don't feed them.
Oh my God. Like they're on large mice. And I'm like, stop it. Like there's nowhere else for you to go. So the issue then comes in is that what I have 2 adult females that can throw each of them in the teens as far as eggs, close to 20. It would be really stupid of me to breed them next year. If something happens between now and October and I sell out of all my olive pythons or a good portion of them, maybe I will put a pair together. 1 pair. Why dump that on yourself? So that's something you need to be wary of. Now, other shit that I don't care how long it takes to sell. I don't know what those could possibly be. I don't like it's other things. I'm not going to change my plans on it too much, but let's say I also maybe won't breed my corn snakes because the last time I tried to sell my corn snakes during a downturn, I got like $5 a corn snake in wholesale, and that sucked. Or maybe I don't do certain things that I have a bunch of, or maybe I slim down on some other things. The good thing is that I don't really have any repeat pairings. Like I think the main thing I'm doing is I'm probably going to separate the Mad Hog trios because I have 5 babies from last year and I have like 16 babies from this year. And I don't want to then just dump another 16 on. So I won't do those, but I have some new Cali King pairs. I have some new speckled kings. I have my Timors. I have my scrubs. I have my white lips, blacks and golds. I don't have any white lips left. I have a couple carpet pairings. I have Angolan pythons now. IJs. Papuan carpets. So whatever you want to call them. So there's a lot of different stuff that if I added it to the inventory is not, adding more supply than there is demand, because that's what it always comes down to.
Right. I guess for me, obviously anything is an increase for me over the last 2 years because I haven't bred anything.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Find myself going through and yeah, you were correct. There you go.
I was correct.
Robert laid it down.
Robert said it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna go by him. Yeah.
I just worry about, maybe I'm looking too much into, the world is falling apart type of scenario. I have
to come and like remove your news channels and unplug your cable? Like you will now only watch snake education videos and stop it. Like,
Well, I think the thing is because like I look at, okay, so this is a couple things, right? Being in retail, being in the food industry, it's kind of like you can see the trend towards people. I mean, the other day, man, I went to go food. I mean, I run a grocery store. I know we don't make shit, right? So there's this idea that somehow we like raise the prices because we're trying to gouge people and shit. No, the price of shit went up. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you're making a penny on a dollar, you know, your goal is volume rather than, you know, make a profit off of one type of thing, you know,
True.
and you're already
True.
taking losses for things they call like loss leaders and stuff that, you know, like we're going to give you a free soda if you come into the store, you know, and hope that you
Mm.
buy other stuff. But the problem is, you know, people are, you can see it in just how they're shopping, you know, you can see that. So uh, as like trying to be ahead of things, you know, these are topics that we're talking about. So I imagine if people don't have money for food, are they going to have money for
Right.
snakes?
So that's
You know what I
the
mean?
other
So
part
it's
of it.
like somewhere it's going to have to be cut, right? And it's
Right.
like if you're going to, I would imagine that there's still going to be people buying and selling snakes for sure, no doubt about
Dude,
it.
there
No
were
doubt of
I
doubt.
couldn't keep
But
snakes during the pandemic. It's like a global pandemic and people are losing their minds,
yeah, but that
and I
was different.
couldn't
They were
keep
getting money
any
for free.
snakes. I
You know what I'm
know, but
saying? Yeah.
here's the thing is that you also need to understand that that's part of it is that yes, you're adding a shit ton of the same thing is going to take it's that it's going to take much longer for things to sell. Stuff will sell, but it's
Sure.
not going to be the look at my animals, come buy them. Like, and I feel like as a carpet python breeder, it was never fucking that. So it was like
Yeah, we're
I
already kind of
never
used to it, right?
right exactly. I was
That's a
like,
good point.
like I never had people kicking down my door for snakes. Like it was so the
Fair
fact that
point.
like other breeders are like, my God, I posted a clutch and not everyone
This
bought
guy
it.
is
It's like,
old.
wait, that never happened. So
That's normal.
exactly. Wait, that happened? Like, so you need to
Yeah, that's a
kind
good
of
point.
gauge your pairings, and also you need to understand is that you're probably going to hang on to animals longer until they do sell, and you need to be prepared for that.
Oh shit! I don't want to get lost with Robert, man. He might eat me.
I mean,
You
I feel
eat
like
the snakes, it's
Robert's
a
not as
win-win.
close as Robert's not as close as Nick, where Nick's like, we've been in the woods for 2 hours.
I will
I may eat one
cannibalize
of you.
you.
It's like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, if you ever go herping with Nick, that's the
I've
first
never
thing
go
he
herping
tells
with
you.
Nick.
By the way,
Make sure you've got a power bar. If he starts looking at you, you throw it at him.
yeah.
So, no.
By the way,
No, Nick.
I'm an alpha male gorilla, and I will eat you. Like,
The hell,
okay,
dude,
nice to meet
just
you too.
left. Like we just left the barbecue. What's wrong with you? It's
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. So it got me thinking. I would imagine that's going to affect the price of rodents. I would imagine that those things are all going to play into those things. It's going to have an effect. And I just worry about people. Well, I don't worry about it. I worry about it for me, but like, you know, I worry about for me.
Shit about people. It's
yeah, right.
Well,
I mean, like,
it's
I
also
don't want to overshoot it, but I also
right.
don't want to miss the mark on. Let's take the Russian tigers, right? So we have the Russian tigers. I have the 2 females and the 1 male, right? So it's like we're gonna try to breed them this year. Hopefully they go. I don't see why they wouldn't. Everything's looking good. Regardless of whatever's going on in the world, that project is still happening. You know what I mean? It's because that's something that we need to get animals back in. And every year that you wait, to me, that's a year that things could happen. But you know, as we all know, you know, what if all of a sudden the male, oh my God, I don't even want to say it out loud, but you know what I'm saying?
No, don't even say it. Don't even say it. Don't even say it. But what is your capacity for baby snakes?
I always like to stay within the 5 to 8 clutch range. When I went over
5 to
8
800,
clutches,
good. That's a good range. 5 to 800. Yeah. Okay. So
what's up, Chris?
As long as we don't have the 5 to 800 babies, or we don't have 600 babies, you'll be fine. So 5 to 8 clutches, I mean, that can bury you if you're not paying attention with 8 clutches. Right.
Yeah, when you start going above 5,
right,
and especially if you have animals that throw big clutches, which I typically don't. I don't see any of my females throwing more than, you know, they're always within the 10 to 15 range, you know.
Right, but
I've never had 15, above that. But still, 15 times 8.
15 times 8 is, you know, my thing is that also spacing it out helps. You know, you have a lot of
that's 120 babies.
Yeah, it's about normal for me, but it's, yeah, but mine space out because you have a lot of Morelia. So
Yeah.
you are going to try to stretch it out a little bit, but you're going to have a lot of babies around the same time.
Yeah.
Which means a lot of feeding and stuff around the same time, feed trials, pulling your
Mhm.
hair out, all that crap. And then you'll have the break after they've all been eating and things get easier. With me, it's
Mhm.
like this clutch and then break, and then another clutch and then break, and then another clutch and then break, and another clutch
Yeah.
and then break, and another clutch
You're
and
like
then
all
break.
year
So
long.
all it just doesn't stop, baby. So it's kind of hard to kind of both have their advantages and disadvantages. So, but I would say that I mean, how many clutches do I have this year? I don't
Diamonds,
wait.
I don't think. Well, I don't know. I think diamonds are like regular carpets. I think there's like probably 15 to 20 eggs, maybe.
I think a normal size female, 15 to 20. And that's across
Yeah.
Morelia on the board, all across it.
Yes.
It's
I would
we're
say
not
my average is 15.
these aren't rogue. Luckily, the only rogue animal involved here is the boy, so he can't influence
Yes.
shit here. So it's
Yeah.
like it
Right.
wasn't like you're like, I'm gonna have like 15. Well, hold on there. Like it's whoa now.
I-
Um,
yeah, I mean, if I looked at all of my clutches, I would say the average of my clutches is probably somewhere between 12 and 15. That would be where I would guess. That would be my guess.
you end up in the 60s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah. Wow.
It's doable. I mean, it's not horrific.
Yeah, I mean,
Plus, also
I
that
think
is if
about
you have 100%, like 100% of all the females you try. And
right. I
I
usually
mean, I would
do.
like to say that
I'm
never
just kidding.
happens, but sometimes that happens, and then and then you're calling your friend, and you're like, "Dear God, I need a rack." And
Take
yeah,
it.
luckily, he's like, "I got
Yeah.
4," and you just take them all. So yeah, it's
Yeah. Yeah, Josh. I don't know, Josh. What have you seen the diamond clutches at? I think Brandon just had a clutch today, probably
he
in
did,
that
he did.
range,
Brandon
15
had
to 20.
his
Yeah.
diamonds are
Brandon
hatching.
Wheeler. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hatchet. That's what I meant. I said had a clutch. Yeah, I don't know. So it's kind of like I have those clutches that you want to you want to do. Diamonds is one for me. Inlands is another one for me. So for me, that's 4. At 4. I haven't even like delved into anything else. 25 people. Wow, 25. Wow.
How big are
you
those
get a
girls?
clutch of 25. Yeah,
How
I mean,
big are
those
those
girls are
girls?
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can
hey,
get
what's up,
into the
Jason?
20s, but that's like a 6-7 foot non-Burkean animal. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, my
I had a
Riverbank Zoo
coastal
is probably
drop
the bigger one.
45. I had a coastal drop 52.
45.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. She was
28,
huge.
30. Well, I guess maybe Bredli drop big clutches. So
In
I'll
the
have to look at
20s.
that again. Yeah. I'll have to look at
Bread
that.
liar in the
Just to
20s.
see.
Are you doing bread liar
Shit.
this year?
No, mine aren't big enough. And then that's the other thing that I was talking to you about today was that I keep having that one. That's the one I got from Robert that it's the hypo stonewash keeps regurging. This is the second time, and I'm kind of like, that's weird. It was fine, and then all of a sudden now it's
I
got this regurg thing.
I wholeheartedly believe that a lot of stuff with stonewash can be interesting if you catch my drift. Especially after last year where I had that clutch where it was just a bunch of them ended up getting small little tumors in them, and that sucked.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This year's babies look great. They just don't know what food is right now, and I hate them for that because
aren't they typically hard to get going?
Yeah, I got 2. Well, and it was a split clutch, so I only have 6. So I got 1, and then I got another 1
out of 6.
And now I got 2 out of 6, and then the other ones are just annoying me because everybody else is rocking and rolling, and then there's these guys. Because all the hypos.
Well, you can't have everything go smooth.
I want everything. I want it all. The python should be on autopilot because I got to focus on this frog feeding venomous idiot that is just will not eat. So yeah, I mean, but I digress.
Right.
So
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. There's clutches I want to do, and then I have the clutches that are sort of like I don't have to do them. Man, I would love to see what happens. And I kind of cut my clutches back from what I think originally I was looking at 10, and I'm like, slow down, big guy, slow it down. We're not jumping into the fire that quickly again.
So 10 is too much.
Maybe that's it. I'll try chicks. I think so. I mean, I don't know. 10 clutches. You got to remember, dude, I'm not built like you, man. I can't.
I'm an old man. All right, I understand.
Well, that,
he's right.
Like
He's correct.
A chunk of my that is true. That is true. I won't deny that.
It's too late for me. I'm in the sunset of my buddy. Like,
Yeah. We'll hit on this in a sec, Josh, for sure. What clutches we're doing for the year, but it's yeah, I don't know. I just was thinking about it in terms of, because I guess it's just how I was brought into the breeding side of things. And it was always like, I remember Reptile Radio's big mantra was, you don't breed what you can't keep. And if you have no intention of being able to keep all of these animals and
right.
But I think for me, it's probably different than you, where I don't necessarily want to do shows. I don't have any desire to do that unless it's for NPR. That I would do.
Right.
But like to sell animals at a show.
Yeah.
That's not me. I'll sell t-shirts and stickers all day. But when it comes to that part of it, I'm just not into that. It's not my thing. I would rather just wholesale the babies or give them to you. And then, as you sell them or whatever. So for me, it's sort of like I have that safety net, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know you're always doing, shows and whatnot. So I guess if you have an outlet to where you can say, okay, if things get super like crazy where I'm pulling my hair
right,
out,
exactly.
I'll just be like, here, just take these, get them, take them now.
And that is an option, but you need to also be prepared for that option. That is something that could happen. So
yeah,
and that's something you gotta
and then I think of I guess the other part that I'm thinking of it is I want to make sure that I'm doing things that I'm going to be not overwhelmed, because remember, the thing of it is I decided this a couple years ago was sort of like, okay, if we're going to continue to do the network and all that, I have to back off of that kind of stuff. So like, I don't want to get in a position of being super overwhelmed again. So it's kind of like I hear the little Rob in the back of my head going, 10 clutches. What's wrong with you?
Oh my God, 10 clutches.
You're insane.
But that's,
haven't I taught you anything?
It's the good thing is that we've done it in the past where you've sent stuff with me and I've sold it, or I've added it to my thing and I've taken care of it, and we've worked that other things out, so that's fine too. There's definitely capacity for all that. I'm kind of running into the ceiling right now. Is finding room for my grow up stuff, because I've held back babies from the last couple clutches, and then I've had the older kids are still here, and it's one of those, I'm gonna have to make the decision of, do you sell the older proven animal and let the new kid get a shot, or do you sell the younger animal knowing that you still got parents?
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. That's always a roll of the dice.
It's going to get real weird and real tight here real quick, because in the next couple of years, my white lip trio is going to be old enough. My Argentines, dude, I may not have some of the animals that I have in my collection in the next couple of years, just because there's not space. I don't need 2.2 olive pythons. I don't need a random ass retic. Listen, if I can just get you to get on my level, I could pawn off some animals on you, and I can continue growing my empire. So it's
Damn.
come on.
Always get in the way. The hell's wrong with you?
Don't listen to Rob. Rob is not helping me. Okay, 10 clutches, rookie numbers.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the clutches. So for me, I would say probably my most
do your first is like 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. My most anticipated is kind of a tie between 3 different ones. But obviously the Russian Tigers, that's really probably the top
number
one.
Right? Number
yes.
1.
Yes. This is my mission to get them back into the world and into the hands of people. And
I can't wait. Like, I'm drooling over the prospect of going over Russian tiger babies. Like, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. And then I guess the next one would be diamond pythons.
Yes.
So I have 2 possible clutches that I could do with that. I have the reduced pattern girl to a San Diego Zoo male. And then that's, if I wanted to, I could also do reduced pattern male to reduced pattern female. If I wanted to see what happens with that. Which, by the way, I was looking on Morph Market at the prices of diamonds and reduced pattern diamonds. Holy shit, man!
There's that one up for $7,000. Like
$7,000. I was like, well, I guess if shit hits the fan, I know what I can do.
I can just get rid of them. It's like, yeah, that would.
Well, I have an extra
cry.
You know.
Yeah.
Just. And then I guess inlands would be the next one. Pair of Mog inlands that I'm looking. The females, she's ready to go. And male solid. So that should be pretty easy. I think my only breeding them. Am I breeding them? I guess I have to decide. Am I doing them like a winter breeder, or am I doing them like a summer breeder? Still up in the air with that one. I think I might approach it like coastal carpet. I think that way. I think I'm gonna do.
I think that would work. Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
So that's one that could be up in the air because that's a new species or subspecies to do of carpet. Right. So it seems to be like they're somewhat straightforward, but I don't know. You never know. So those, and that would be one that that's a clutch that I'm going to sit on. You know what I mean? I'll probably end up, in here and take these pair of inlands, but I don't want the inlands.
I don't want them. No, I don't. I don't want the inlands. I don't want the inlands. I outsourced all my breadlie breeding. Like I have a pair of breadlie. And like they're all gone. They're not here, but I'm still getting babies. It's a great idea. So,
And then the other one that we were talking about yesterday, when we were talking about, we did the second episode for the jungle carpets, and we were talking bloodlines and lines and animals, we kept lineage, and somehow we kept, because we kept getting pulled into, what northern coastals and some of the localities and what are they considered now and whatnot. But somehow me and Owen kept getting pulled back into coastal breeding.
Somehow it happened. Yeah. I know how it happened.
But I have the male, and it's a not reduced. What am I saying? I've got reduced pattern diamond on my head.
You do.
It's a red tiger from Balin. I think I can. Yeah, I can share it. So
it's a red coastal. I don't know if I would call him a red tiger.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. I said red tiger.
It's a red coastal. Came from He's tiger. Cross it with a red tiger. Once again, I know your animals better than you do. Like, how is this happening? So, yeah.
So there he is. Pretty much looks the same. So he's just bigger now. But he's going to go with Molly Ringwald and hopefully produce a whole bunch of red tigers.
Right. You still have Molly.
Oh yeah.
I'm like he's gonna go with Molly 2.0. No, wait, you still have Molly. Okay, yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Molly, and the one I was on the fence with is gelatins. So I have the gelatins too.
Aren't that many gelatins out there? Yeah.
Time for an NPR facility. Yeah. We've been talking about it for 10 years.
If I hadn't have moved out here, it'd already be happening. Because how the hell are we
Yeah.
going to find a place that we can both reach and clean and
Right.
do stuff that's halfway between the two of us? It's stupid. Yeah.
Right. 100%.
One of these days.
And then what's the other? Oh, and then the other one that I have to do is actually higher up on my list is I have a poison ivy male.
Poison ivies.
That I want to do with the one that I got from Ish. That I'm hoping. Yep. That will give me. I don't know if I have a picture of him. I thought I did, maybe. But
I know
so
what they look like. Nobody else needs to see.
Yeah. What's your?
I know what's going on.
What's on your list?
I'm glad you asked. So,
oh boy, buckle up, peoples.
But here we go. Buckle up, Buttercup. So obviously we'll start with Morelia, Brisbane's, because I don't, I got a pair of Brisbane's.
You need to do them.
Do that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Roughies. So we're gonna do that. Then I have a pair of Papuans that, so help me God, I shall toss together and breed, and then we'll be done with all that crap. Then we'll dip into Liasses, which we're going to the max need another couple of years. So we have to skip those. Olives we're going to skip because we still have babies. I'm thinking about parting with the water pythons, but the Dunai are ready to roll. So we're going to try with the Dunai. I moved the female into a larger cage recently, and she's just growth spurt, leap, bounce. She looks fantastic. She's ready to roll. White lips, we're going to try the 2 pairs of golds. My black-faced female needs to grow up a little bit more, but we're also going to try Wamena scrubs, Timor pythons, and Angolan pythons, because I just picked up a boy at the Hamburg show. So we're going to do that. And then with colubrids, like I said, I got those king snakes. I'm not sure if I'm going to let the Vietnamese blue beauties go again, because I have all those babies right now. And then, like I said, I'm probably going to give the Mad Hogs a year off, but it's going to be a lot of king snakes and stuff like that. And then I have rainbow boas going as well.
Oh, geez. Rainbow boas.
Yeah. So,
okay.
All in all,
that's right. I remember getting them from Riley, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
just
they're ready.
Leave this one that he gave with me with you.
Like, here. All right. Okay. So, all in all, it's potentially 33 pairings.
Holy shit, dude.
Don't worry about it. It's
Wait,
fine.
33.
Rob,
what's your
Rob, breathe, Rob. It's okay. Yeah.
What is your average clutch size? I know you're all over the map because you have all
that's what to say. Like, what are we talking about here? Like,
just take a guess. What would it be? 15?
Average clutch size is probably around 15, because you have stuff like
dude,
that's hold on because you have stuff that goes bigger, but then you have stuff that gets smaller. Like I'll say I have normally the Mad Hogs only have 8 eggs. Mad Hogs just 8 eggs, that's it. But then like the blonde hog dropped 10, but only 2 were good. The white lip only dropped 10 when she produced. So I do have a caramel project. So I have a caramel tiger going to one of my caramels that I produced 3 or 4 years ago, just to kind of see what happens the year after, or in a couple. I think next year will be the one where I'm going to take that caramel stripe to a super caramel jag. So, but then also I have other animals on breed loan. I have my jungle jags on breed loan. I have my bredli on breed loan. I have my Russian tiger on breed loan. I don't sell anything. I just send it out to work at other places. So,
I did find the picture of the poison ivy male.
There he is. Yeah, it's a nice one.
Yeah, he's very dark. He's got all these.
Well, people have to understand is that when he was born, he looked like a normal. Like you could see all the pattern. So all that black came in over time.
Yeah. So
Yep.
he's a little lighter than her, than Poison Ivy actually was, but actually he looks
Mhm.
a lot like her.
So, but like you said, I do shows, and I am trying to also build relationships with wholesalers and with various pet stores and stuff like that. So I am selling things. So it's not necessarily going to be. Is that the girl?
Yeah, that's the girl I got from Ish. So
interesting.
You can see she's darker.
She's good.
She's not. And that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people will say, like when they get an animal like this, they'll say, "Oh, this is a high melanistic animal type of thing," and like you can clearly see the difference between a darker animal and then what's going on with the Poison Ivy stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what's going to be good is that you're going to get like 4 het granites next year if I'm successful.
Thanks,
yeah, because like the eggs will hit the ground. And then I will just drop them off at your house. So,
I even have, I still have Exanic granite stuff. I actually have to get I guess maybe the next time you come down here. I should have just gave you that. Why did you? I didn't even think about that, man. My bad.
you make me go give money. You make me go give money to Chris Salemi of all people. Like, look what you did. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God forbid.
Let that happen.
Yeah. I have, I don't know, man. I think I have 6 of them.
Of Exanic granites?
Obviously, there's a pair. Hets. They're hets. Head to head.
Okay. It's like
so you'd be
6 Exanic granites that you've just been hiding from me? What the hell is going on here?
There's a lot of things. You're not the only one with secrets,
look at the
my
pop
man.
ones when you come over. Good point. Good point. Good point.
You're not the only one with secrets.
I do
come
breeze
on now.
past that rack. Yeah, so that may be on me.
I don't want to see them stupid IJs.
It's like, all right. I'm beginning to see where the miscommunications may have happened. So where the disconnect is.
Who gives a shit about them? They're just
who gives a shit about that crap.
But I know I had one so I got to sex them. I know the pair that I had, but somehow over time, I think I used to have those QR codes things. And somehow the stickers got mixed up when I was cleaning, and the sticker that I had that was on it was like a coastal carpet or something. And I was like, why are these all coastal carpet? Oh my God. Now I don't know what's what. I mean, I know they're all headed Exanic granites, but I don't know the sex. So I may need your help with that. It's been a while since
that's fine. I can
older.
I gotta probe my water
popping,
python,
but not probing.
Same.
Oh, you got to probe them.
I got to probe the water pythons because somebody was interested in buying the pair, and I have to make sure it's a pair, and I'm just a failure. Because if it turns out that they're both boys, then I figured out why I've been failing, or if they're both females. So, but if they're the pair, I'm just going to restart that project because it gives me more cage space and it gives me time to grow up the max, the Savus, and then the water. So we'll kind of step away from Liasis and do other things, and then we'll have a resurgence when everybody gets big. So,
okay, yeah. Shit. What was I just gonna say? What were we? Damn it. Shouldn't draw a blank when you're doing a podcast. That's usually not good.
I
for
mean,
business.
but it keeps happening. We have to really kind of figure out what's going on there.
I got distracted by the picture of the male Russian tiger, just so people know.
That's what he was when he was a baby. Yeah.
I was telling Owen. Yeah.
Well, you sent the picture of him like you and I were looking at pictures of him yesterday, like as an adult, and I still love the way he looks and stuff like that. So go through all you.
Oh shit! I didn't even realize that's still up there. I'm just going through.
You can see my scrolling. Yes, they can.
Yes.
So
yes, we can.
Yeah, but that'll be a fun project to kind of get going. What's cool is that I have the opportunity to do 3 or 4 species that I've never bred before next year with
Okay.
like Timor's, Dunai, Angolans. So
Yeah, you
another
were
one in
saying
there. I just
yesterday
forgot
it's
it.
like a very Python
Scrubs. Yeah. Oh yeah.
scrubs.
This year was like 1.5 Python clutches because I produced one and then I got one. But next year is going to be a lot of Python clutches. Obviously like 5 or 6 carpet clutches, and then Timor's, Scrubs, Dunai, Roughies. So it's going to be all that kind of stuff. It would be really cool to kind of see that happen. So
Yeah, for sure.
all of them,
That's
all the baby pythons I produce, well, that will be a hefty price tag, my friend. But you know what? I will give you a discount. It'll only be like 50 grand. Like I don't, yeah. So
yeah, and then then my head starts turning when I get in that space of like the breeding mentality mind. I'm like, oh yeah, this one's going to be grown up by the following year, and this one's going to be grown up by the following year. Excellent.
yeah.
I got like the hypo girl. There's a lot of stuff I want to do with her. It's obviously tigers. So
I mean, I have some for you. Yeah, like there's, yeah. Whenever I come to you or you come to me, we'll figure it out. But
for sure,
they look nice.
How have they looked since have they shed? How many times have they shed?
They've all shed once, and to sit there and say, the problem is that I've never done hypos before. So I'm looking at it and my caramel brain is like that one. And I'm like, but is that correct? Like I'm like that one, but
you're going to pick them all wrong.
I'm like, exactly. So I'm like, listen, there ain't that many of it. You're all fucking staying. So you know what? Do it. Eat your food. We'll figure it out later. So that's where we're at. But looking at the picture I threw up on my Instagram, that's the female. That's the holdback female because she's got what reminds me of a really good super caramel kind of baby pattern. A lot of red, very reduced black, but she's got the stripe. So it's like, haha, you've got several of the things that I'm looking for. So you will stay like star. So
yeah, I need a male. So
there's
a male.
There's a couple. There's a couple.
Okay. That's good.
I think there's only one tiger hypo female, but I want to say there's 2 boys. Everything else, you know how they have that busted up pattern where you're looking at it and you're like, you're not a stripe, but with the right kind of push, you could be. So, or you can make them.
I would be fine with that for a girl. Yeah,
there's a lot of those. There's a shit ton of those. Because I'm looking at it, I'm trying to find, because I wasn't expecting all hypos. So, and I don't think we got all hypos because I don't think you would get that, right? So,
I mean, you could, but the
odds of that are ridiculous.
Like,
so
kind of crazy.
But I'm trying to find, and my fear is that because we picked this tiger girl because she didn't have any red in the lines, like she wasn't a Balin red tiger. So we chose her, which is why, because I wanted to give her the year off. And then you did the dickish thing that you do where you're like, here's a hypocarpet python. And now I have to totally just explode my entire breeding schemes all over again. So
I will do that again as well.
I think I'm going to ruin you. I think I'm going to wait another month and then ruin you again. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm planning a coup on the rogue reptiles.
That's kind of unfair, and I don't really like that. So
I'm taking it over from the inside out.
Yeah, well, the problem is that I can't, like,
too many blueprints.
I can't drop a pair of olive pythons off in your front door. Where are you going to put them? Like,
that's a good point.
It's like, oh no, don't go downstairs. I'm just gonna build cages for you for 3 days. Then you'll see. Like it, no.
The deep state of NPR was sort of a meeting, and they were like, all right, he had the rhinos. That's okay. Now he's starting to get into boas. Now it's going too far. We need to take this guy down and take him back
too far.
I'm like,
he's got 3
I'm gonna have to give up my
boa.
hypo male. Oh my god. What am I gonna do? You realize that these are my snakes that he bred. These are both my snakes that I've
That
given him
was
to
the
take
best
him over.
part. You gave me the tiger, and then years later gave me the hypo. I'm like, you could have done this. Like, these are yours. Like, I don't. And it's funny because I have that same kind of shit with Buddy, because I got half of that Stonewash clutch, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's my male, and that's my female. Like, it's.
Nick has taught you well.
Like, apparently, like, you know, that's apparently what happens. You just. Anyway, so I don't even know where the fuck we were. That was
I don't know. We started talking coups and deep state.
Deep state. We kind of got lost into it. Yeah, it kind of just happened. But I'm holding on to them all as they grow.
Yeah.
But there will be a decision, and you know, obviously we can have the, you know, we'll go through that. But the good thing is that I produced some really nice looking Exanic tigers last year. We're talking complete stripe. They're all kind of like slatey gray kind of deal. And
are you gonna make me get an Exanic tiger instead of the female instead of instead of the?
I'll take that. Like, no, those are all gone. Like, it's
damn it.
So, but the plan is that the mom of my Exanic tigers, I'm going to throw with the hypo this year.
Okay.
So I will have
true goat.
Some
possible
I will
true goat. Well,
I'll have some possibles,
right?
Yeah, they'd be hypos, pos head, Exanic. So
okay.
Yes. But give me a couple of years, I'll have a hypo tiger ready to go with an Exanic tiger, and I'm gonna have red tigers all over the place. So
that was our plan back in the
and caramel. I am doing it. I am doing it because I'm I'm this close because I have caramel tigers that I'm working on it, refining the stripes and the color, because I threw a fucking M pen in there, which made it so much better. So it's like there's that. Now we got the Exanic tigers. Now we're going to get the hypo tigers, and then we're just going to plug, and then we're just going to get a ghost tiger, and then we're going to, so don't worry.
Yeah. It's, when, we're working on some things, sort of like for the Patreon and whatnot. One of the things was going and doing taking the old episodes and sort of like, so I did the first one to where I did like it's probably actually tomorrow it'll be up in our Patreon. But so basically it's telling the story of NPR. I thought, I was sitting there thinking about like trying to do all these different things. I was like, wait a minute, we could just talk about our story. I mean, we've been doing this for so long. There's so many stories that I have forgotten about. And one of them is when you go back and you start looking and listening to the old archives. Like I'm talking like we're a year in, like a year and a half in. Like now we're
I still have just coastals. Yeah.
Well, you're starting to get it, but like you hear us talking, and I could see where I guess people like would listen to us, and we just sound like blabbering idiots. Where we're just like, we're pumped up, dude. Oh my god, we're gonna have all these tigers on the table. Oh my god, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be citrus tigers and red tigers and Exanic tigers, and oh my god, if one day we had a hypo tiger, wouldn't that be insane? And here we are, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess that's a reality.
Yeah, we got that. Like, there are those moments where, like, and we talked about that as how I used to have pictures of, because there was. Willie did an interview in Reptiles, and he had pictures of his tiger jags and stuff like that. And like I had just cut them out and put them all over my PC tower that I had in college, because now I get to date myself that way. And I remember looking at him like, one day I will have that. Now I'm like, I have 4 of those, and I want something else now. It's it's
crazy.
It's that kind of shit.
But it's cool to see that those plans are actually coming together. And I think the thing of it is that I take away from that is like, people will often say about, I think some of the mistakes that I look back that I think I made is that like jumping too fast into it. And like, I know everybody probably goes through the same thing where you're so like super excited about this. You're so like, it's just focusing most of your your concentration is always thinking about, well, if I did this pairing and I did that pairing, and if I added this and I need to add this and da 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 da, and this carpet python army that you're trying to put together, and just going too fast in that can sort of, it can burn you out.
Burn you out. That can,
yeah,
that can
what I mean?
totally burn you out. And then also when you're going and going and going and you're all excited and then something bad happens.
Right. You hit the wall and you're like, oh shit.
Right. And that just breaks the perception. And now you have to deal with what's in front of you. And that's where people can get lost in it. It's also, I feel like some people can get over their skis so quickly when it comes to what they can and cannot do with their own collection, with their own animals, with their own time and space and stuff like that. And I know I bought my original cages after I had my first clutch of caramel tigers in the egg, and I bought the cages on a credit card because I'm like, well, clearly what will happen is
I've listened to this episode.
The eggs will hatch. The eggs will hatch, and I shall sell all the babies at this amount and this amount and this amount. I got one caramel tiger.
Right. And then you're like, shit, I have to hold this one back.
And I kept her. And she's thrown some great animals and made me a good amount of money and things like that over the years. But it's not
right.
No, the things didn't go as quick, and that didn't happen. And I kind of feel like a lot of people hit that and they realize you don't sell out quick. This doesn't happen. If you do wholesale, you're not going to get the money. Like you're not selling babies for retail to wholesaling.
Right.
And they got to make their money. So they're going to talk you down to the less, and this is going to happen. And then you got to do babies feeding, and you got to spend the money on rodents, and you got to, it used to be worse when I was like throwing out all the fuzzies that weren't being eaten by various animals. Now, like my colubrids get so much bigger when it's python baby season because I'm just dropping piles of fuzzies in front of them.
Right.
That the pythons were like, no, and they just eat them all. So,
yeah, it's just, I guess that's the takeaway, right? It's just being patient, and then just seeing your projects out. Seeing them out to the end or wherever you want to take it. And it's just crazy to see all these years later. And people have to remember, like, you look at the market now for like odd pythons. It's kind of like in vogue. It's kind of like, people are like, if you don't have like a scrub, or if you don't have like a Boland's, or you don't have like Macalots, then you're not cool. Like that kind of thing.
You don't have a Calabar burrowing python? What the fuck's wrong with you?
How dare you? Right. And it's sort of like, you look at it now, those things are popular. But back then, when we started doing it, they were not. Carpet pythons weren't even popular. You know what I mean? It's like, if it wasn't a jungle carpet, nobody gave a shit.
Right.
So it's like, we kept plugging away at it. And it's just to see all these years later, people are going nuts over, Halmahair scrubs and Moluccan scrubs and, Maclots and Duns and all these crazy things.
But that's the thing too. Like, if I had done the show on Saturday with just carpet pythons, I wouldn't have sold a single thing. And then I'll take it a step further. If I had done the show on Saturday with carpets and olive pythons, wouldn't have sold a single thing. If I had done it with any species of python that I have in my possession that I have babies from, wouldn't have sold anything. The fact that I had 3 other species of colubrid, those were all what sold. So I kind of feel that's the road to success. Is I know people want to zero in and have their project that they're known for, but when you pigeonhole yourself into one species, you got to hope that the person comes through the door with the money that wants the thing that you have at the price, and that it sells. Like that's the whole thing. That's the formula where now you are approaching a broader audience. And
I think to your point, right? It was sort of like with the IJs, right? It's sort of like when I looked at that way back in the day in 2000 and what was it, 10? When we looked at that, I was sort of like, okay, if I'm going to be selling coastals, how am I going to compete with a Nick Mutton or a Jason Balin or even, if that's what you were doing. And
Right.
if we're talking, jungle carpets, again, how am I going to compete with somebody like a Nick Mutton or like an Andrew Paris or like, a Mo at the back in the day, or a Mike Curtin or, I'm sure I'm forgetting people or whatever, but it's just the idea of like, okay, you think about those things and you say, okay, well, I really like carpet pythons, but let me kind of do my own thing. And then when you're doing your own thing, what happens is people will come to you for said thing. So like the carpet python market might not be on fire, but if you have the right stuff, then people are going to come in. I think that's why colubrids have seen a resurgence, right? I think a lot of it has to do with CCR, right? Because they're doing the podcast and they're talking about these colubrids that like some people don't know about. And now they're putting those ideas out there that like, oh, here's a species. Now we're having things like Colubrid Fest. So like you're seeing that sort of, what would it be, like grassroots effort of like trying to promote a certain group of snakes.
That's
and I've seen it work every time, right? So it's like if you figure out what it is that you're into. So like for me, I'm fine, and sort of like my zone is that's like I've tried all of these other things. I've kept all these other things, and it's like I keep coming back to like if I had to keep species, what am I going to keep? It really comes down to Australian pythons, and really more than that, it comes down to carpet. So it's like if I have to hold on to them, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But if you're doing something like if I was doing false water cobras, I would be like, these need to fucking go now.
These need to fucking go.
You know what I mean?
These things are horrible. Like which they are. But it's
meaning like the babies. If I'm trying to sell the babies and
they're
not selling,
too.
I would be
they're
like,
horrible from the second they hatch. They're not nice. Like it's, but the
Zach is like,
so
what
the thing
the hell?
is, so what I found, and this is kind of like my mentality with jungle carpets. Right, I can't compete with some of the guys out there doing jungle stuff. Like you put my best animals and Mike Curtin's best animals, I lose. Now I've somehow swindled my way into having Mike Curtin's bloodlines. So don't know how it is that, but the friends close, enemies close. It's the but I breed my jungles and then I don't care how long it takes, because it's really just to have it, because every once in a while you're at a show and you're the only guy there who has carpet pythons. If people come up, do you have a jungle? I have these. And they might say yes, they might say no, they might do whatever, but I have it. But I'm not devoting half my collection to jungle carpets because that's not my thing. But will I devote a project around maybe one or two females? Sure, cool. I can totally do it. And that's the same thing I've been wanting to do with Papuans, because people do ask if I have granites, if I have Papuans, if I have this. So that's why I got hets, so I can get granites and normals, and I can offer them. And I'm not going to breed them every year, but it's something to toss out there to show the variety. And but that's not the bread and butter. The bread and butter is the caramel stuff. Bread and butter is the stuff I'm looking at these M-Pen caramels. Every time they goddamn shed, I'm like, I should really not allow any of you to leave. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why you are still for sale. Like, Eric? I should really stop that.
With Lucas?
That's what I sent the best.
These, but here
I sent the best tiger. I sent the best striped M-Pen caramel to Lucas. Right, not the best, but I sent him one. Like it was the best. Listen, I'm breeding for myself. You all can get second pick. Like it's that's how this works.
That's the way it should work.
Like, what if I'm successful with Timor pythons? Because you keep a pair of Timors, don't you?
Do I?
No, would I? Like if I got a clutch of Timor pythons, you keep a pair of your captive born and bred Timors, right?
I think that you would.
Where am I going to put them when they grow up?
I would be smacking you on the head if you did not.
What do I do?
What are you doing, man?
What space do I have? Like it's
something's got to make the cut. Well, that's where I think that's sort of like what we do. I think it's wise that you sort of contact people locally and have those connections locally,
friends,
so that if somebody that you would consider your inner circle, whoever that would be, and if you have those animals, and you could put them in the hands of people that that if you ever wanted to get something back from that, you sort of have
they would
that.
they
And
would
then
be there. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like a win-win. I think that's a really
Yeah.
a win-win for everybody, because you might be putting, Rob and I used to talk about this back in the day when we were talking about Halmaheras breeding. This is before they were even bred in captivity. And, it was the idea of, and Boland's as well. It's sort of like there are people out there that are probably capable of breeding these, but financially, they're not able to do it.
It takes a lot.
I think of Keith, right? You think of Keith, right?
Well,
he said this a lot, right? In order to have Boland's and be successful with them, the group you have to have is, you kind of have to have
needs to be substantial.
Again, except for the exception would be Ryan Young, right? He can do it with a pair, I'm sure.
You probably do it with one. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So but in general, you would want to have a somewhat of a big group. When they're 10 grand a piece, if that's even what they are anymore, who knows?
No, they're like 20.
20? Inflation.
Boland's? I thought they were. Yeah.
Well, who knows? But I guess my point is, it doesn't matter if it's 10 or 20. You can't go and just buy like 10 of them. And
right, exactly.
Right. So it's almost like, is it good that, and I think they've fought about this on Reptile Fight Club, the price of animals, and does it notch out people that, like, if you have somebody that's up and coming that's really smart and really into, say, Boland's or whatever, like, look at Kush, right? He's a perfect example with scrubs. How often did, like, as we were coming up in NPR, it was like unheard of, like you would hear of like one clutch a year, and usually it was a Maruki or a Southern clutch of scrubs, and you would have like, David Means was probably one, Chris was another, I think. And, there was like three people that were kind of doing scrubs like that. And, again, that's probably exaggerated. It's probably more than three, but
those were, because that's the thing is that it costs that much to invest in that many animals. And this is back when you could get a lot, but there was also a lot of money and a lot of overhead, a lot of space, a lot of time. And we had people that did devote their entire collections to scrubs, maybe had some success, but not on the same level. So, and
scrubs were like, you look now, right? If you got a scrub now, you're probably talking what, $500 to $1,000, right?
Something along those lines.
Right.
Yeah.
When we were getting into scrubs, they were like $100. You know what I mean? So like you had people like just grabbing up scrubs and then working with them. And I think that's where like a guy like Kush, saw that. He's like, I really like this kind of this species and this complex, and I want to work with them and I want to breed them, blah, blah, blah. Another one that I think of is Rob Christian. He's another one, right? It's sort of like he was able to, again, I don't want to say these guys don't have money or whatever, but a lot of us don't have money to drop 10 grand on a snake,
but also with scrubs is there's the time and effort. It's not going to be I'm going to close my eyes when she turns 100%. 4 and I'm going to breed
hard
her.
To sell.
Like,
right.
I am, dude. It's going to be so cool to see her, my female, wrapped around some eggs. If that happens, I am going to tweak out because that's a new thing, but also it's like I never thought I'd freaking breed scrubs. Like it was never, that wasn't even in my purview of like things that could happen. So,
well, the funny thing is, the first scrub episode, when I was sick and all, and
I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that episode. No, I don't want to. No. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're next topic.
All right. Yes. All right. Next topic. You'll see it in the what do you call it? The Patreon soon enough. The story of the Scrub Python episode.
No.
Well, we have to go through episode by episode.
No, we don't. You promised that would never see the light of day again.
I'm looking for this book everywhere. This was like the NPR E.B. Morelia Carpet Python book. I have so much shit in here that I wrote down.
What is
years.
Like?
Yeah.
If we burn that, do you die? Like, is that what holds your soul? Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
wait, that's not the magic? Oh, look at it. Before everything got digital. Yep.
It's got notes and all kind of shit in here.
Because that's not your breeding binder, because your breeding binder was one of those like black and white copy books, because I remember doodling in that. So
Yeah. I was cleaning out my garage and I've been looking for this book forever and I finally found it. But this
Stories
sort of
like I threw it
has
there.
all of that info in one spot. But it's kind of like you start looking through it and you're like, oh shit, I forgot about that. You know, when Rob has kind of been slacking with our clips, you know what I mean? It's like we used to have the clip show every year to remind us what idiots we were from the previous year.
I don't think we need that many reminders. I'm pretty sure Nipper has like a large list of things that we've messed up in a year. So
yeah, I get it weekly. And then at the end of the year, we get a recap.
Yeah, a whole big one. Yeah.
Before we roll out, we're talking about hypos and caramels and tigers. This seemed like the proper animal to share. A wild coastal carpet. That thing is gorgeous.
That anybody would call it. It looks like a Savu. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is beautiful. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
So this is a carpet from Southeast Queensland. So it would be Migdali. And obviously you can see it's in a snake bag. So somebody caught it.
Somebody caught it. Yeah.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Did you see that?
Gorgeous.
Did you see the ranger at, was it Kakadu? The snake catcher?
That found the Owen Pelly?
Owen Pelly. Yeah.
Yep.
Lucky son of a
bitch.
Dude.
Can we do Owen Pelly 2.0? Oh, we're months away. Maybe. Hopefully.
Listen.
I have faith in the stone.
Listen. I wish you luck. Also,
I
kind of not. Like it's like go get the olive.
I wouldn't,
but I will not
other way.
I mean, I want you guys to be successful. Also, kind of don't. Like it's.
I kind of think when I'm sending that Owen Pelly picture and it's sending it to you via text message in the middle of the night, you're gonna be like, "What the hell?
God damn it!" Like I just wake up and throw my phone. Yeah. So
all right, so we're gonna wrap up there because then me and Owen are gonna do Morelia minutes for the Patreon for this week. But and you got to clean snakes, so we don't want to run over too much. Anyway, if you want to support the show, here's some ways you can. NPR Network on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. We have swag at our Teespring store. We also have the Patreon that you can join, and of course, for Carpets and Coffee, Cold-Blooded Caffeine is if you love coffee and you're into reptiles, it's a beautiful mix because not only do you get a little discount from us and with the affiliate link, or you can use the code NPR10, you also will help support the environment where the coffee is produced. So it's a win-win. What do you got, Owen?
You can go to Cold Blooded Cafe to get your rodents. Use code NPR20 to get 20% off of your first order. And you can use FS250 to get free shipping off of any order over $250. Make sure you follow them on all their social media because they usually put up what sales they're going to have up there. And I believe they'll also be at Daytona coming up where I will be. So if I see you at Daytona, come say hi. And I promise I will sign your forehead if you ask.
Will you please?
I will. Right. I will do it. Please no one make me do that. Like that would just be really weird. And I'm not going to tell my wife what's happening. I'm just going to start signing people and she's going to be very confused. So maybe let's not do this. Like let's just backpedal. Let's not.
Yeah.
Okay. So
right.
Anyway, that's it.
All right. We're out.
Bye, everybody.